Tonight, we're speaking to Senator Ghazala Hashmi, a groundbreaking figure in Virginia politics. Born in Hyderabad, India, and raised in Georgia, she made history in the 2019 as the first Muslim woman and first Indian American elected to Virginia State Senate. A former educator turned lawmaker, Senator Hashmi has been strong voice for education, equity, inclusion, and now she's seeking to make history again. She's running to be the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Senator Hashmi, thank you so much for joining us. First things first, for a lot of people that may not know, you were born in Hyderabad, India,
Yes.
and you moved to the US at the age of 4, Georgia, then Virginia. Just tell us how this journey has been, especially as an immigrant, who became an educator and then into politics. What has life taught you, and what would you want to tell everybody that they probably do not know about you?
Well, thank you so much. And yes, it is an immigrant's journey, which I think is common to so many hundreds of thousands of Americans. And for me in particular, I did grow up in Georgia, and I grew up in an academic household. My dad was a college professor, and so I was always determined to be a college professor myself. And I decided to focus and specialize in American literature. But it is that work through teaching American literature that really led me directly into politics. I spent 30 years in the college classroom teaching and talking about all of those texts that define our American identity, that highlight the complex history of this nation, and that present a broad representation of the diverse voices that are so much a part of our literary tradition. And so in 2016, when Donald Trump first came into office, it was very distressing because it counteracted, it was the antithesis of so much of what I'd been teaching my students. And I felt, particularly as an immigrant and as a Muslim, targeted by the bigotry, the Islamophobia, and I just felt a need to be more outspoken and to represent the communities that I care about. And so I decided to run for the state Senate seat in the Richmond area where my husband and I had made our home for 30 years.
2019, is that right? If I'm getting
That's
it right,
right,
2019.
2019.
Right before COVID. Now, you touched upon an important word there. You said identity. A lot is going on in the country right now, especially when it comes to people of a certain color, certain religion. What's your message to Virginians, who probably are distressed by looking at what's going on in America?
Absolutely. And I think one thing I've heard loud and clear is that Virginians do not like the direction that the second Trump administration is taking us in. And Virginia is such a complex state already. It's home to hundreds of different immigrant communities. Just in our local schools here in the Richmond area, we have over 100 languages that are spoken by our own students. And Virginia has been a welcome home for many, many different immigrants, as well as refugees, and so many diverse people. And so Virginia wants to make sure that we are inclusive, that we are proud of the diversity that we have, and that we are supporting everyone that lives here. And I've heard that on the campaign trail, and that continues to give me hope. And I certainly see that reflected in the number of different people that we have running for elected office. Our Virginia General Assembly is a representative of the diverse communities as well. We've really seen increased representation both in the House of Delegates as well as in the Virginia Senate.
You know, the election, or the election right after the general election, the Virginia election, is considered to be bellwether as to, what the mood of the nation is, what people are thinking. Uh, the polls were indicating a different story in the summer, but it looks like they're pretty close right now. What is your message to people who are either not convinced to vote for you and your party, and those independent voters that could probably be sitting on the fence to make up their mind in these last hours of campaign.
Yes, the stakes could not be higher, and the differences could not be clearer between myself and my opponent. First of all, I'm running against somebody who has very publicly shared and done so repeatedly that he wants to close every public school in Virginia. He wants to take our public education taxpayer dollars and give them into the hands of private for-profit organizations. That's a non-starter for most Virginians. He has also compared healthcare, reproductive healthcare access to slavery, and he supports the devastating H.R. 1 bill, which has brought untold harm to hundreds of thousands of Virginians. He has fully agreed with Donald Trump that slashing Medicaid insurance and Medicaid coverage for over 300,000 Virginians is okay. Well, that's not okay with the numbers of people that I've been talking to all across the campaign. Virginians are distressed, they're angry, they're anxious. We've seen considerable harm coming because of the DOGE cuts to our federal workforce. So much of that workforce actually reside in Virginia and are Virginians. By contrast, I spent 6 years now in the Virginia Senate. I have a body of legislative work that represents my areas of focus, what I'm committed to doing, what I have already done in education, healthcare, focusing on housing affordability, food insecurity, as well as our environmental and energy needs. And so I would urge anybody to stack my credentials, the work I've already done, and compare that to my opponent who has no government experience and instead is running a campaign of bigotry and Islamophobia directed against me.
Islamophobia, and we're seeing that play out in New York too, with Zohran Mamdani's campaign. Like, America has changed, right? And what's your message to somebody who probably doesn't feel welcome in America, or who stayed in America for so many number of years and are hesitant to share their roots, be it either Indian roots or their religious roots? How, just out of, all this stuff that we're seeing, uh, if there's one thing that you would want to tell to the minorities, what would that be?
Well, that was the impetus for me to run for office actually in 2019 to prove to myself that I actually belonged in this country. I'd lived here for 50 years and I needed that validation. And the fact that I was elected, that I flipped a red seat blue, and that I won a competitive seat by 10 points very much confirmed for me that the people in this country and people in Virginia are genuinely focused on making sure that we continue to make progress. My campaign in 2019, my tagline was Ghazala Hashmi is an American name. I asked voters to help me prove that, and they did resoundingly. And that continues to give me hope for ourselves, for America, and for the communities that we build here.
All right, Senator Hashmi, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with the race. As I said, few hours, I mean, few last hours, I should say. And you made history as the first South Asian, first Indian, and first Muslim woman to be elected as senator in Richmond from Virginia. And we hope to see you break more barriers. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.